Good day, dear students. My name is Annette van Heerden. I am your tutor for the Diploma in Pre-Primary as well as Junior Primary Education, Mother Tongue Literacy and Development 1. This is a content-based contact session and will help you with your preparation for your August exam. Welcome to this very important module. Literacy development is the most important subject for any junior primary teacher, as this forms the basis for reading, and reading is the pathway for learning throughout a child's school and tertiary career. The purpose of this module is to develop a theoretical understanding of mother tongue and second language development. General remarks on the answering of your exam paper. Your exam paper consists of the following: a cover page, instruction page, questions to be answered. The cover page is divided into a left and right column. The left column will be filled in by the tutor when marking. Please do not fill in here. The right column must be filled in by you. The right column of your cover page, the following headings can be found here and must be filled in by you. Under the heading Student Details, fill in the following information: your CIF or student number, your surname, your first name and your initials, your ID number, your examination center, and then your student signature. General instructions. At the bottom of the cover page, you will find the general instructions. Please read through them and make sure you understand. Questions should be answered on the question paper in the lines underneath each question. Answer all questions. Use the mark allocation for each question as a guide for how many facts you should write down. It is best to number the facts underneath each other. Write neatly and legibly. If I cannot read what you wrote, I cannot allocate marks to you. This paper consists of 8 pages, including the cover page. Count the pages and make sure that all are there. No cheating or disturbing. Serious steps will be taken against anyone who cheats or disturbs an examination session. Examination instructions. This is the next page. No unauthorized material or irregularities will be allowed. No asking for or giving any assistance to anyone. No cell phones are allowed. No leaving the room in the first 30 minutes. No late arrivals. The question paper or answering paper is the property of IOL and may not be kept or parts thereof removed. All answers should be on the IOL pages. No smoking or eating in the examination room. Sign the checklist. The most common mistakes made by students in previous exams is to think that my marking can help you pass your exam. I cannot help you pass. I mark according to a memorandum and my work is being moderated. I cannot give you marks when the correct facts are not written down. Only you can help yourself pass the examination. The cue to answer a very good exam paper is as follows. Study your IOL study guide very well because all answers will be from this. Study the work that was summarized in this exam-based contact session. You can also find this on the portal. Study the corrected answers in your returned assignment, as 20% will be in the examination. Read the questions in the paper until you understand what is asked. Lots of students do not understand what is asked in the questions. Answer in your own words means to construct the correct facts from your study guides into your own words. It does not mean make up your own facts and stories to write down. While doing this, make sure you do not lose some important facts of the specific question. To avoid this, list and number the facts underneath each other wherever possible. Listing cannot be done when you are asked to write an essay. Remember, an essay consists of an opening paragraph, then the content, and again a closing paragraph. Suggestions on how to study. You cannot pass your subject if you do not know the content of your study guide. You cannot start studying one day before the examination. After receiving your study guide, immediately summarize the content. Read through your summary at least once a week. About 2 months before your examination, start studying. Do not try to study the whole content in one day, but divide it into portions that you can handle. Then restudy the content on a regular basis to ensure that you remember it. Please, students, do not try to write MT1 and MT2 in the same examination. Rather pay enough attention to one at a time in order to pass your examination. Important information. As from 2017, we were instructed to compile only one paper for both pre-primary and junior primary courses. This was not very easy to do as the content of the two study guides differ a lot. I therefore had to make use of choice questions where I could not find enough similar content in both study guides. So when answering a choice question, you must choose the part of the question that occurs in your specific study guide and answer only that. Choice questions will look as follows. Answer only one of the following questions. Judy Hayes conducted a study on the 5 stages of second language acquisition. Name and describe these 5 stages. Or David Crystal's theory on the child language acquisition involves 5 stages. Describe these stages according to him. You will then find that Judy Hayes is in the DPP study guide, while David Crystal is in the DJP study guide. You only answer the one that applies to your course. If you answer both, only the first one will be marked. Understanding how to answer a question. Every exam paper is set in 3 levels of difficulty. Level 1, 2, and 3. These levels are usually indicated by the specific verb that leads the question. In the front part of your study guide, you will find a list of verbs and what is expected of you when I use the specific verb. You will have to study this list, or you will lose marks when not knowing what to do. The levels in your exam paper is divided as follows. Level 1 60, level 2 30, and level 3 10. Now, how to use the verbs in your answer. The verbs that is used most commonly by me. In level 1 is the verb list and name. Here you can only name or list the content. Define, describe, outline, explain, summarize, or identify. Just give the description or the explanation that you studied in your study guide. Discuss, analyze. Level 2 is discuss, analyze, comment, examine, design, create, investigate, and demonstrate. With these verbs, you must still use the facts from your study guide, but you cannot only give the facts as it is. Some other actions is needed. For example, with discuss, give a clear description of the facts and then argue about the features. Give a short discussion on each. Examine asks you to identify the detailed features of something. You give the facts, that's from your study guide, and then discuss them according to a given direction, and then drawing a conclusion. Under the list in your study guide, find out what you will have to do with every of the verbs above. In level 3, you find the verbs evaluate, whereby you determine the value or the worth or the quality or the success of something according to the certain criteria. Also the verb compare, here you indicate similarities or resemblances and differences of the phenomena regarding a particular criteria. Draw a conclusion about the similarities and the differences, emphasizing the similarities. Very often, a table format is used to compare the phenomena. If you are asked to compare some facts to your class, make sure you indicate which of these facts you have found in your class. If you do not have a class yourself, please find a teacher where you can sit down with her and discuss your work with her. Discuss critically is the next verb. Students have to provide the positive and the negative points and draw a conclusion. Determine, ask, use the information given to work out an answer. Distinguish, differentiate or contrast. Describe two phenomena or things according to relevant criteria by pointing out clearly the differences between the two sets. It is very important that you know what to do with all the verbs, as not knowing will cause you losing valuable marks. Dear IOL students, if you failed the previous exam, make sure that you obtain a report on what you did wrong from the IOL officers, or send me an email for the report. I don't see any use of discussing the specific questions of the previous exam, as no questions will be repeated in the next exam. Instead, I will give you an overview of the study guide explaining what to study. Your exam paper, all questions should be answered. Where a choice question is applicable, make sure you answer only one of the two. Otherwise, only the first one will be marked. Read your questions with care. Make sure you know what is expected with every verb in each question. And make sure you know the English grammar as well as language structure. Every paper has a question on this. Important questions to study. In the study guide used, the refs given to find the answers. For example, E1 number 1.2.2 means Unit 1, heading number 1.2.2. Students, make sure you look for the answers indicated to your specific course, the DJP or the DPP. The verbs indicated what is expected in each question will be in bold. See your study guide to know what is expected when using each verb. In the junior primary phase, number 1.2, paragraph 7. Any linguistic figure have a functional or conventional association, can be distributed in a way that distinguishes between registers. List any 10 of these linguistic classes. Junior primary number 1.1 or pre-primary 4.1. Give an overview of the language families found in Namibia. Pre-primary number 1, unit 1, number 4.4, paragraph 1. Explain the theory of first language acquisition. Junior primary number 1.3, culture. Define what you understand under the term culture. Only a definition is asked. Junior primary number 1.2, paragraph 7. Describe the 5 language registers and give examples of each. Now here you have to describe only the facts from the study guide and give an example of each. Junior primary number 1.3, paragraph 9 and number 2.2, paragraph 1. Explain the term cultural identity. Here you must explain, level 1, only the facts from your study guide. Also listing the factors that influence cultural identity. Now you must list it. List means you must put it in number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 underneath each other. And then explaining the factors that influence our personal world view. Pre-primary, unit 1, number 4.3. Explain how cultural diversity and identity is reflected in language by looking at the role of mother tongue as well as English-only education. Again, pre-primary, number 4.4.1 in unit 1. Judy Haynes conducted a study of the 5 stages of second language acquisition. Name and describe these 5 stages. You only have to name it and describe it. Again, pre-primary, unit 1, 4.4.1. Discuss some of the useful suggestions for activities and teaching in stage 2, the early production stage, of second language learning given by Haynes. The verb here is discuss. There's a vast difference between discuss and describe. With discuss, you need to describe the facts from your study guide and then give a short discussion of each. Junior primary number 1.4. David Crystal's theory on child language acquisition involves 5 stages. Describe these stages according to him. Now, describe is only the facts from your study guide. But remember, I can also change the verb describe to discuss, and then you will have to give a short discussion on each of the stages. Pre-primary Unit 1, number 4.4.3.1. Halgunset divided sequential second language learning into 4 stages. Name and discuss each stage, comparing each to your class. Also mentioning the founding of researchers. Here you have to name it, then give a short discussion on each, then compare each one to your class. And remember, if you don't have a class, go discuss this prior to the examination with another teacher who has a class. Also then mention the founding of the researchers, just as it is in your study guide. Junior primary 1.4. In Stephen Krashen's theory of second language acquisition, he discussed multilingual education, MLE, and a 4-stage program. Now, the question is divided into 3 parts. The first one, discuss MLE and these 4 stages. So here you have to give a short discussion on each of the stages. State what research has shown, just the facts from your study guide, and then compare this to your classroom. Again, if you don't have a classroom, look for a teacher who can help you with this. Junior primary Unit 1, number 4.5 and Junior primary number 1.5. Discuss the national language policy with regard to mother tongue up to grade 4. Junior primary number 1.4. Discuss critically. What is understood under the term vocabulary acquisition. Discuss critically is a level 3 verb. Remember, here you have to give the positive facts, give the negative facts, and give a conclusion in your answer. Choose one of the following approaches to develop literacy and discuss this approach. Here you have a choice question. Constructivist learning in the pre-primary phase, Unit 2, number 4.2. Discuss constructivist learning, or discuss language experience approach. This is in the junior primary phase, number 2.3. Then again in your pre-primary study guide, Unit 2, number 4.4, all the bullets. How can you as a teacher promote fluent speech and the use of a variety of vocabulary? Again in the pre-primary study guide, Unit 2, number 4.3, as well as in the junior primary study guide, number 2.4. Define and discuss the alphabetic principle and its importance in early literacy development. In pre-primary, Unit 2, number 4.4, as well as Unit 3, Learning Activity 6. How children learn words and vocabulary and literacy. This is the heading of the learning activity. As well as in the junior primary study guide on page 2.5. Analyze the relationship between oral language and literacy learning. In the pre-primary study guide, Unit 2, number 4.6.2, paragraph 1, 2, and 3, and in the junior primary study guide, number 3.3. Explain why only informal and formative assessment are suitable to assess young children, and describe what is meant by informal and formal assessment. the junior primary and the pre-primary must be able to define the following terms in the language structure throughout your study guide. Look for that in both study guides. The phonetic alphabet, phonetics, phonemes, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics. The junior primary study guide number 3.4, and this question can also reflect on the pre-primary students. It can be asked to answer this question from your practical experience in your pre-primary classroom. Describe how the thematic integrated approach to pre-primary education works. Now students, the thematic integrated approach is the approach that is prescribed by the Ministry of Education. If you don't have a class, go to a teacher and ask how this works. Then discuss the benefits of the thematic integrated approach in your pre or your junior primary education. In the pre-primary study guide, Unit 2, number 4.5, and in the junior primary study guide, number 2.6. Explain the importance of storytelling and story reading for early literacy development, the DLTA. In pre-primary, Unit 2, number 4.6, and in junior primary, number 3.7 and 3.8, learning materials. In table form, list 10 different types of teaching and learning materials that you can establish in your classroom to promote preparatory reading as well as incidental reading. In the adjacent column, state in which way this will assist the learner in the development thereof. Pre-primary, number 3, Unit 3, the word wall, and junior primary, number 3.8.2. Describe how you can develop and extend children's vocabulary in your pre-primary classroom by using the well-known word wall. Then the last one, in the pre-primary as well as in the junior primary, this is the grammar question. Use the given sentence. Provide each with a different part of speech provide each different part of speech, with a specific function and all examples from the sentence. This question or another form of it will be in almost every examination. Students do not know how to answer it, therefore I will now explain. The sentence, I will always give you a sentence. He ran fast to the blue gate and closed it slowly. Then I ask you a verb. A verb, the definition of the verb is it is an action or a state. And the two verbs is ran or closed. You cannot write the whole sentence and make me choose which words. The noun is a thing or a person. The noun is gate. Each time just give the specific noun. The adverb describes the verb. So the two words describing the verb is slowly and fast. He ran fast and closed it slowly. The pronoun replaces the noun he or it. The preposition links a noun to another word. The preposition is to. The adjective describes the noun, and the adjective, something that describes the noun, the noun is gate, blue describes the gate. A conjunction links two sentences or clauses or words together, and this is and. Provide each of the following parts of language with a short explanation as well as an example from the given sentence. The sentence is, he ran fast to the blue gate and closed it slowly. A main sentence is a sentence with a subject, a verb, and an object. For example, he ran fast to the blue gate. A phrase is a group of words that do not have both a subject and a verb. And closed it slowly. There's no subject. The subject is a person doing the deed. For example, he. The object is what is being done. 2. The blue gate. Another question, change the given sentence into the following tenses. I catch the ball that my sister throws. Past tense. I caught the ball that my sister threw. Future tense. I shall catch the ball that my sister will throw. The key to the future tense is I shall, we shall, all the others will. The present continuous tense. I am catching the ball that my sister is throwing. Remember, the continuous tense is made out of am and the ing behind the verb. Past continuous tense. I was catching the ball that my sister was throwing. The following parts of speech can be tested: a verb, a noun, a pronoun, an adverb, adjective, preposition, conjunction, main sentences, phrases, subjects and objects. Change the given sentence into the following tenses: the present tense, the past tense, the future tense, the present continuous tense, past continuous tense, and future continuous tense. Also very important to study and be able to apply the following to different sentences is punctuation, capitalisation, sentence structure, sentence construction, conjunctions, determiners, quantifiers, spelling, synonyms, and opposites. To the student, please use the refs provided with the questions above to find the answers and study them for your examination. If you have a question you would like to ask me, it is best to mail it to me at vanheerdenfam@gmail.com. Then I can give you a well-constructed answer. But when emailing me, name your course code, your subject code, your semester code, as well as your language, as like DJP or DPP, MT1, 2 or 3, and English. As I am the tutor in mother tongue in different courses and different languages. When you phone me with questions, I sometimes cannot hear you properly. Most of the times I'm not at a place where I can look in the study guide, and due to the cost of cell phone charges, we keep the conversation short. Thus, the answer may not be of the same quality as of that in an email. Please note that I teach afternoon classes and cannot answer my phone during my teaching time. Please adhere strictly to my calling times. Mondays to Thursdays from 9 to 12 in the mornings and 17 to 2000 hours in the evenings. Fridays only 9 to 12. Unfortunately, I will not be answering calls over weekends, as most weekends I am on the farm. Also, please note that tutors do not work in the IOL office. We are part-time workers, and we cannot help you with any administrative problems. I can only help you with problems concerning your subject content, and this I will gladly do. I wish you the best of luck for your examination.